Hello everybody and welcome to DanMachi Season 3, Episode 11 Anime Review. This was hype, wasn't it? We know. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I've been looking forward to the end of this season because I knew what was coming towards the end, and this did not disappoint. The whole thing, you know, no one's a bad guy at this point. Like, it's weird to think that, like, villains of this arc, Ikelos Familia, we dealt with them ages ago, right? Like, when did we deal with them? Like, Episode 8 at the latest, you know? They've been out of the picture for a while, so instead we got heroes versus heroes, basically, which is an interesting way to do it. It's very good, because, like, obviously, we're rooting for Team Belle because they know everything. But you don't really want Loki Familia to get hurt, because, you know, most of them, except Bete. Bete's an asshole, you know, he can break a leg and he'll be fine, you know, I will not bat an eyelash. But everyone else, it's like, oh man, I kind of like you, I don't want you to do bad things, you know? It was solid, though, it was very solid, I enjoyed a lot. But anyway, let's crack on with the episode, see how everything went down, and do this thing. We pick up where we left off at the end of last week's episode, which, in case you forgot, Weena got separated from everybody else and ran into Tiona of Loki Familia, and so she's obviously running the hell away from her because she don't want to get stabbed with that big old double-bladed, big old sword. I forget what it's called. Auger? It's something like that. She runs from Tiona. Tiona gives chase. She's kind of playing with her a little bit, which is a bit harsh, you know. She could just, you know, take her head off at any time, but she's just watching. Probably because, you know, this ain't how monsters act. What the hell's going on? She actually ends up escaping briefly from Tiona. She gets into the sewer and she's like, well, I lost her. And then she was like, that monsters don't act like that. That's kind of weird. Belle catches up to Haruhime and carries her because they know we're in a hurry. We got to go, right? Bete, I guess, noticed them. He went like like that. So I guess he saw them, you know, invisible dash around the room. Wealth and Mikoto. This opening section, we'll go over a bunch of different things really quickly. Wealth and Mikoto are still fighting Gareth. They end up losing their cloaks, which means they're now public enemy number 1. Now the whole world's going to know, put 2 and 2 together and you get Hestia Familia. So, yeah, like to see how they get out of this one, Chief. Weena saves another kid from some debris, like some debris about to fall in it. You know, at the beginning, pops out her wings and that to protect the kid and everything. Tiona sees this and is like, well, that's kind of strange. Wealth doesn't want to use the magic sword on Gareth because he doesn't want to kill him, basically. He gets not reprimanded, but he gets a shout from Tsubaki, who I don't think we've seen in the main series, but she's in like a high up in Hephaestus Familia, which of course Wealth used to be in. I think she's in Sword Oratoria, the anime, briefly, but that's the gist of it. She also like has banter with Wealth in a bit that got cut from would be season 2, I guess. So there's some extra context. I'm sure you can find out. It's volume 8. Volume 8 is the stuff that got cut. If you want to read it. So there you go. He then decides, yeah, I will use the magic sword, and freezes Gareth. And they're like, look, he's alive. And that ice seemed to be cracking remarkably quick. I don't know how, you know, but I guess it held him. So what can I say? Tiona stops Weena on I guess an alley or something. That makes sense. And is like, all right, I'm gonna kill you now. On second thought, no. I can't exactly kill you because, you know, she kind of figures like, yeah, no, I don't think I can kill you. You don't act like a monster. And she's like, I'm pretty sure you saved that kid. So, you know, you seem alright. You can go, basically. Tiona, being the first member of Loki Familia to show brains and empathy, to realize that they've not done any actual attacking yet. Like, if they were actually trying to hurt people, a lot of people would be dead. Like, I feel like they should realize that quite quickly. But whatevs. Weena gets away and then she's all like, oh man, this is probably what Argonaut thought and that's why he's helping. And then Tiona is the busty one. She shows up and it's like, where's the dragon girl? And she's like, I lost it. I kind of let it get away. And she's like, you did what? Why would you do such a thing? And she's like, great, now I've got to explain this. I'd like to think she like spent a long time explaining it just to buy time. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I like to think she's helping out in her own way. Weena then runs into Belle and Haruhime and they're going to help her. However, they're in a bit of trouble, so they smell, right? Because they haven't showered in a while. Bete can smell them and is like, I can smell you. And then Haruhime, brave little lady she is, goes out to confront Bete by herself. It's annoying that I got confused because Welf sounds like wolf and Bete is a wolf. So easy mistake to make. So we got Haruhime, who is a fox. It's a fox, right? I'm double checking my brain. I think she's a fox. And Bete, who is a wolf. Do they fight in the wild? I don't know. I need to watch more National Geographic, apparently. She's, again, buying time. Belle and Weena leave. And Bete's like, move. And she's like, no. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna kick rocks at you then. And he does kick some rocks, knocks her over a little bit. And it's just like, you know, amateur, get out of my way. And then she does some, her magic spell. I forget exactly what it's called. The level boost thing. Why, though? There's no one around. Is she going to boost herself? That's kind of weird. Why would you do that? Aisha shows up out of absolutely nowhere because she sees the light from the level boost spell and is like, that's my girl, and runs over to help. And she also gets level boosted, and she's about to fight Bete with a level boost. She might even, you know, is she level 3 or 4, Aisha? I forget. 4, right? She's 4. So that'll make her level 5. And Bete is level 5? Or is he 6? No, he's 5. He's 5, right? He's 5, I think. So, you know, that's even, kind of. It's kind of even. Belle and Weena then run into, worst case scenario, I think it's fair to say. They run into Eyes, and turns out, yeah, Ryu was defeated off screen. That's another thing I noticed, like, there's a lot of cool stuff this episode. Could we have seen a bit of, you know, Ryu versus Eyes, just a little bit? That would be kind of alright. And then later on with Aisha and Bete as well, could we have just seen, like, a tiny bit? Come on. But, no, I get it, but it would have been nice. But minor nitpick, really, there. So, yeah. Eyes is like, I see now why you said what you did back then. I can't, my answer hasn't changed. I'm still going to kill her. And Bella's like, let's not be doing that. You know, she's good and everything. And then Eyes is like, all right, we've got to fight now. And they do have a fight. Belle blocks and Eyes is, you know, playing with him a little bit. But then Belle, like, snaps. He's like, all right, stop. And he, like, pushes her back. And she's like, oh, you're fighting me seriously. She looked shocked. She was like, you're actually choosing the monster over me? Like, which, to be fair, kind of, you know, you've got to wonder, it was either that or she was like, damn, you strong now. You wasn't this strong last time we fought. That's, you know. And they have a little brief scrap and Eyes is like, well, I've got to get serious now. I can't hold back against you. And she does get serious. I like this whole situation because it's like, I don't know about anyone else, but I was never thinking that Belle was going to win. I know, yes, I've read the light novel, but even reading that, I never thought that Belle was going to win, because he can't win, because that would break the power scaling, so to speak. But no, it was more about how Belle ain't going to just roll over. He's actually going to fight. And she's like, I'm not going to go easy on you, and beats him down a little bit. Belle is like, okay, plan B. Firebolt, firebolt, firebolt. Debris, smoke screen. They skedaddle out of there and manage to make a brief escape from Eyes' Wallen Watsits. Then we go to Aisha, who was defeated by Bete, and she tells Haruhime, hey, you got stuff to do, you need to go do that. And I thought she was going to help Belle, you know, level boost Belle against Eyes. But no, that's not what happened. She just found some friends, I guess. Belle and Weena end up near the area where Belle left Hestia in season 1. Remember when the ape got out, the silverback? Right at the beginning of season 1. They end up back there, so Belle uses the same tunnel again. He's like, Ween, you get out of here. Here's the communicator. I'm gonna stay behind and talk to Eyes. There was no talking involved. He says, I'm still as weak as I was back then. I'm like, no, Belle, you're not weak at all. You're stronger now than you've ever been. That's both like physically and then like not brain power. He's not dumb, is he? He's naive a little bit, but he's not an idiot. That's a good way of putting it. Eyes shows up and is like, this is your last chance, Belle. You need to move. And he's like, whooshing, sword. No, he doesn't have a sword. He has a knife, 2 knives. And then it's like, okay, let us begin our scrap. They begin fighting. Ween, who is in the tunnel, you know, obviously tunnels, echoes, hear the clanging of the swords and everything. Ween hears them, and she's like, I don't want to get Belle to get hurt. And Hestia is just like, okay, I understand, you know. I know what Belle's like. For his family, you know, he's never going to surrender, you know. And then Weena is like, I have to go help. And Hestia is like, are you prepared for the consequences of that? And she's like, I am. And Hestia's like, okay then, off you go. I know Belle basically told me. Belle probably gave her the communicator thinking that Hestia would stop her going back and let her go, or you know, lead her to the way out. But nah, Hestia's just like, you do what you gotta do. In this case, obviously, it was the right call. Maybe not for her, you know, blood loss and that, but we'll say it was the right call. I doubt Eyes would have killed Belle. She just might have broken a few limbs, you know? Nothing serious. This whole time, Belle is completely outclassed by Eyes, although he's not getting, like, pummeled, you know? He is defending himself at the very least. So again, he's not a weakling. He's pretty strong. He does, actually, I think at one point he, like, does a twisty move and he, like, manages to, like, nail a hit. Like, one hit. Which is more than I think he's ever done before. Like, I don't think he's ever, like, managed to, like, in their practice matches. I don't think he's ever landed a hit on her before, but he has right now. And she, again, looks shocked. She's like, what? I think it's a combination of, like, what, you would do that for a monster? And, damn, you stronger than I think you thought you were, you know? She asks, why are you going this far for a monster and everything? And Belle is like, she can speak, she can feel emotion, she's the same as us. And Eyes is just like, they've killed so many people. And Belle is like, people kill people. And other monsters too, you know? We've all killed so many. And then Eyes is like, I've had enough of this foolishness, and goes to I wouldn't say stab, I think she's probably going to butt him on the head to knock him out. I can't imagine that Eyes would just cleave Belle in half in the middle of the town. Doesn't sound like a very Aizu move to me. But Ween shows up and gets in front of Belle to protect her, much like how Belle stood in front of her when, you know, they were pointing arrows at her when she was a bit crazy. Remember that? It's much the same. And she's like, I'm gonna stay with Belle. You know, she starts speaking, and Eyes is like, stop speaking. No, if you speak, I'll lose my gut, basically. I'll lose my, what's the word? Determination? If you speak, basically, his point's being made that we're the same. Ween says, hey, we're going to stay with Belle, and Eyes is like, I can't let you go, you know. I'm going to have to kill you. Your claws and your wings, they hurt people. And then Ween is just like, well, what if I didn't have my claws and my wings? And just rips off her claws and her wings. Like but with her hand. Just whoosh, whoosh, and then tears off the wing. First off, that's an incredible arm strength. But yeah, no, nails, which I assume the claws work the same as nails. I mean, there's a reason that in torture, they peel your nails off, you know? Or not peel, rip your nails off. There's a reason for that. And yeah, it's probably because it hurts a lot. And I don't have a wing, but if I did have a wing, then I'd imagine that would hurt to be ripped off too. The whole time she was doing it, the look on Eyes' face is like, oh my, what are you doing? Why would you do that? You know, it's just horrified, and Eyes is like, they're both shook. Like, Bella's like, what the hell? And Eyes is like, oh my god, what do we do here? And then Ween, surprisingly, hasn't blacked out from the pain yet. She does briefly, don't worry. She says, I was alone for so long, and then Belle saved me, and starts crying, and then Eyes is just like, well, now I can't kill her, you know? It's not like that. It's like you know, if I killed her, it would be wrong, you know? Because in her head, she's like, monster's bad, therefore I can kill. But now she's like, Ween are not bad, Ween are good. You know, she's human, basically. So I cannot kill her. So she's like, just go, guys. Just go, get out of here. None of you are wrong. Everything you've said is right. But then you got Loki Familia aren't wrong either. You know, they're not the bad guys here. If we look at it through the human eyes, Belle and them are the bad guys. I love the what's the word, the duality of this arc, so to speak. It's interesting, I think. Anyway, they go, and also she gives a potion for Ween because she's like, that probably stings. You should probably fix that. The day is won. We get a little epilogue section. Haruhime has regrouped with Lily and some Xenos that got separated. They've got a key, Knossos key from Asterios, who knows where he is at this point, you know. Fels and them are in the passage, the secret passage, you know, Lid, the main crew that didn't get separated, basically. Belle got his group to the tunnel and everything. Weener says, hey, you know, this time I'm not going to cry, we're going to meet again, it's going to be great. They do pinky promises. One day we'll have a place we can all live together. And when DanMachi finishes, whenever that may be, like, it's going to be like I can just see, like, happy family epilogue, and it's going to be great. The Xenos are going to be respected as people, and then we'll have a series about politics. I don't know. Hestia then after they have their pinky promise and everything, it's a happy ending. They won, but then, you know, we're looking at it like, hang on a minute, there's another episode left to go. What's going to happen? So Hestia, I guess, burnt the notebook a little bit, which is, I mean, I'd call it a dumb, clumsy thing to do if it didn't probably alert them to what was about to happen. So the other Xenos go through, they go to where the door, the entrance is supposed to be, and wouldn't you know it, there's no door there. Oh. Well, this whole operation is a wash now, because I presume the other adventurers know the direction they went in and could give chase if they wanted to, and there's a dead end there. So, that's not great. Turns out the mastermind was Hermes, because obviously he had the book. My guess is he just put in the fake thing. The reason he did this, well, he doesn't say, he's like, Xenos, I have a question for you monsters, heretical monsters, I think he calls them. He's like, would you die for me? So, yeah. Is Asphy going to be able to one-hit all the Xenos? I doubt it. She's strong, but, you know, Lid's strong too. You know, he's on par with you know, he does a decent job against Loki Familia's top rankers. So, not sure Asphy could fight them all herself. Could be wrong though. Could be wrong. But, you know, not thinking. So we'll have to wait and see. That was a post-credit scene, by the way. I probably should have mentioned that. So, if you didn't watch it, watch it. It's after the credits. But yeah, no, that was the end of this week's episode. We have Uno episode left, and just like this week with Belle versus Eyes, I'm very excited to see what happens. Well, I mean, I know what happens, but I'm excited to see it, if that makes sense. And if you know what happens, you're excited to see it too. Don't lie. Yeah, you are. But though, that's next week. What's my favorite part of this week's episode, though? Let's have a look. So my favorite part of this week's episode was the whole Belle versus Eyes section. It's multiple sections, you know, not just for the fighting itself, but because of basically, hey, Belle's not gonna go back down on his beliefs just because Eyes is telling him to. Belle is not what we call a simp, right? Belle has his own things he will stick to. He will do that. We've seen regardless of what that does to him, and I think that's pretty damn admirable. You could say it's foolish. I'm not going to deny that, but it's still admirable. Anyway, though, that was this week's episode. Very enjoyable, as I said. This season has really kicked it into high gear towards the end, like I knew it would. I was waiting, you know, it was a bit slow at the start, and then it kicked into it, and since it kicked into it, it's been pretty non-stop ever since, which is always a good thing. Though, I will see you next week for the finale. It's a finale next week. Anyone else feel like this full season is just blitzed through? Like, I'm like, oh, we're at the end. Cool. You know, 2020, I guess. But no, I will see you next week for the finale of this. So leave a comment and stuff if you're excited. Say I am excited. Smiley face. And yeah, if you don't know what's going to happen, let me know what you think is going to happen. I do know what's going to happen, so I can't comment on it. Unless you want me to spoil it, I'm not going to do that. See you next week. Take care. Subscribe and stuff so you know when that comes out. See you then. And bye, guys.